time.
Music.
Fans know her as Dank DeMoss, and they're fuming after a Lyft driver allegedly denied her a ride because of her size. And Fox News' Jessica Dupnack is live in Detroit with this story. And my goodness, tell us how this all unfolded here, Jessica.
Well, it all unfolded on video. Deja Banlane whipped out her phone when this all happened. Now, the Lyft driver, he was kind enough and apologetic, but refused her a ride and said that she would not fit and that her weight couldn't be handled by his tires. Now she's filing a lawsuit. Have you been in cars that size before?
Yes, I have. I've been in cars smarter than that, you know.
Deja Blanding tells us she was just trying to get to a Detroit Lions watch party this month when her Lyft rolled up.
As I'm walking, I see him like making faces or whatever. I'm like, oh man.
She already knew.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can.
Believe me.
He told her there's not enough room in his car.
The kicker part was when he started to talk about his tires. You know, I feel like that was a slap in the face. That was like my tires, you know, like.
The driver said his tires could not handle her weight.
For every big person you turn down because they can't fit in your car?
Yeah, because they need to order the Uber XL.
You know what? I don't never have to order Uber XL.
He apologized, canceled the ride, and left her there. The rapper says she's pretty tough.
I get the money and flip it and make some food.
Dank DeMoss, as she's known at the mic, is crushed by the whole situation.
I just want them to know, like, it really hurt my feelings.
It looks like Lyft might be hurting pretty soon, too.
I knew it was illegal, and I knew that it was wrong.
Her attorneys, John Marco and Zach Runyon, say weight is a protected characteristic in Michigan by law.
It would be no different than a driver pulling up and saying, you know, I don't want to have black people in my car, or I don't want to have Christians in my car, or Muslims in my car. It's the same. Under the law, it's the same.
The lawsuit is filed. Since she posted the encounter on social media, other full-figured folks have reached out saying the same thing happened to them.
I can fit in this car.
No, believe me, you can.
Yes, I can. I really want people to see, like, what we go through as bigger people, you know.
We did reach out to Lyft. They did not get back with us in time for this story. Now, Lyft, Uber, those rideshare companies, they can refuse passengers based on a perceived security threat. But according to Deja's attorneys, you cannot discriminate based on someone's weight. It's very clear in that cell phone video. That is why he denied her ride. Reporting live on Detroit's west side, Jessica Dupnack on The Edge.
And because these Lyft drivers, their own personal rides, I mean, they turn people away, but they have some discretion, you're saying, but when it comes to some of these protected liberties, no.
That is what the attorneys are saying, and they said they had enough to file suit. They have filed that lawsuit, and Lyft has been served, but we will see what happens. We'll stay in touch with Deja.
Yeah, it's interesting because you said so many people came forward after this, so clearly it's an issue out there right now. Thanks, Jessica.
We all remember the rapper who sued Lyft because she was too fat, or they alleged that she was too fat to ride in their car. I think she actually ended up winning that case. She got a settlement, I believe. And when that case came out, a lot of people had takes on it, and I didn't really say anything because I wanted to do research before I said something about the case. And that's the difference between attorneys and the lay people. Because for me, as a normal person, I was like, girl, you're too big, order a bigger car. But when I looked up the Michigan laws, the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act actually lists weight as a protected class. If a law makes it illegal for you to refuse service or to discriminate on the basis of a protected class, and you're refusing somebody service because they're a member of that protected class, it has to be done in a very specific way for you to avoid being in legal hot water. So even though most people will be like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense, legally there's things you have to do and there's things you can't do, otherwise you'll get in trouble. So I could not pull, I read the complaint, but I was not able to pull the court documents. But the last thing was that the case was closed because it was settled. And usually cases are not settled unless they came to some kind of mutual understanding, because if there's no case, then Lyft would have just asked for the case to be dismissed and for it to end. So does this mean that Lyft actually violated the law? It might be that they just didn't want the publicity or the smoke that came with a publicly litigated case, Or it could be that they thought that they were actually going to lose under Michigan law, and so they just decided to quietly settle. And we might never actually find out what the terms of the settlement were, because settlements are usually not public, and it's probably why we haven't heard anything from Dank DeMoss or Miss Blanding ever since.
Y'all, I looked everywhere and tried to find how much she settled for, and I can't find it, but it did say she settled. So I agree with this woman. I believe she got bread, and I feel like they settled it through an NDA, because I feel like if Lyft found out, if people found out that you could sue Lyft and Uber in that specific state because of the protection laws that protects it, oh man, it's either gonna be some pop tires or people gonna get rich. Okay, that's crazy. But you know, I tell this to people all the time. Just because it makes sense to you, if it don't make sense in the court of law and you go to court, if it makes sense to them and it makes sense for the paperwork, and she's a protected class, everything is pointing to the fact that she won. And she been quiet. She ain't said nothing about it. She has been on TikTok though, making videos on, I guess, how fine she is and how big, and twerking and doing her thing, because I mean, she looked like she ain't got a care in the world and a bill not to pay. Again, every site I went to so far says that she settled the case. Even her attorney, it says the attorney Zach confirmed that the discrimination lawsuit was quote unquote resolved, but could not speak further on specifics of the case. I just felt like she won. And it's only obvious. You can't talk about the specifics of the case because the Lyft ain't trying to put no more money in nobody's pocket. Now listen, I know what y'all thinking. This is insane business. But if you really, really, really think about it, there was a lawsuit for Red Bull, okay? From what I was told, there's a story about this lawsuit about Red Bull. If you looked at the commercials, like when Red Bull first came out, it was like, Red Bull will give you wings. Red Bull will give you wings, right? It was everywhere. You could hear it everywhere. Allegedly, somebody sued Red Bull for not giving them wings. False advertisement, right? May sound stupid because it's like, how the hell you gonna drink the drink and it's gonna give you wings? But they said it was gonna give me some wings. Where are my wings at? I ain't getting my wings. I was emotionally distraught. I was devastated. My heart hurt, but just whatever, the boopity boppity boo. Okay? But legally, it stands because it is false advertisement, because you did promise that these people would get wings. So if you look at Red Bull cans or the commercials or whatever, you see that they put like 2 or 3 eyes, because wings is not a word, right? And they kept trying to bring that commercial back, but it seemed like ever since that lawsuit happened, they kind of slowed down on that type of advertisement. It just kind of stopped. So yeah, it's possible, even though it does not make sense to you. If it's on paper and you can look at the laws and you can go, I've seen cases where the stupidest things have passed based on something very, very small. But there's always gray areas in the court of law. That's why you got to know your paperwork. You got to know what to do. And you got to know what to say when you're advertising specific things. You cannot promise people things you can't give them, or you cannot discriminate against people in a special class. Now, had he said like, no, I'm just going to refuse service because I don't like your attitude or whatever the case may be, he could have got away with it, but she specifically have him recorded as weight, which is a protected class. So all you big gals in Detroit, I don't know what y'all doing, but y'all go ahead and see. But I'm pretty sure people got letters in the mail who drive and say, listen, don't turn nobody away because you're wait. If you feel like you don't want to drive or whatever, tell them you run out of gas or something. I don't know, but don't be, you know what I'm saying? Because you can deny anybody of service, like based on the attitude or feeling mistreated or safety issue. I believe that's what they said in Lyft. But being a BBL or a BBW, what I'll say, a BBW, no, you cannot. So I personally believe she won this case, and now she back in the gym, and now she getting her workout on, trying to get fit or whatever. And I think that's some crazy work. So if I find anything confirming that she actually won, which I doubt, I feel like the word settlement gives it away. But if I find anything else, I will let y'all know. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think she won or do you think she lost? I'm out.
We in a no hyena zone.
Anti-hyena zone. It's my zone.